All right, what up, y'all? I thought I was live already. Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, why nobody popping in here yet? But I didn't. But yeah, y'all. So I'm back, getting ready. We're gonna watch some crazy videos. You already know. Every time you think these videos are, you've seen the craziest one. It's always another one that's even more crazy, even more outrageous, dealing with tyrants. And again, it's just unbelievable that these people take an oath to the Constitution, and they go completely against it. They don't ever honor their oath. Now I'm starting to realize more and more why um, the Honor Your Oath channel was created. I'm just seeing it more and more. Like it's after that, after seeing the swearing in ceremony and seeing plenty of those, this it makes this even. After seeing the swearing in ceremony, it makes seeing these videos that much more upsetting, because you know for a fact that these people take an oath to oath to the Constitution, and uh they make a big deal about this ceremony, this swearing in ceremony, and then they go completely, AWOL. It, it's pretty much that oath to the Constitution is just for show. Nobody takes it serious. Nobody cares about what the Constitution has to what they don't even go over the Constitution when they swear them into the Constitution. They don't name no amendments. They don't talk about rights at all. They just say they're going to swear to uphold the Constitution. I guess that was supposed to be assuming that everybody knew what the Constitution consists of, if they knew the rights of the people. But there's no constitutional training. How can there not be constitutional training in law enforcement when it or in any government position, any government position? How can there not be a constitutional training, or like something that has to do with the Constitution? Because that is exactly what you're swearing to. You're swearing to the Constitution. How can there not be a talk about the Constitution? It's amazing to me that that is happening and has happened for so long. But yeah, y'all, we're gonna get into it with these videos. I know everybody probably still asleep, so y'all gonna catch the probably the replay of this live stream, or uh, when I chop up the videos and post them, y'all might catch it. Anthony, what's up? What's up? But yeah, we're gonna get started here. Yeah, and we're gonna go ahead and start with the civil rights lawyer. The civil rights lawyer always has a great, you know, his videos are always top notch, and I love to get the legal um, representative to say his thoughts on this. So I know, even though that we have the same thoughts and the same pretty much common sense, he knows the intricate details of the law, and a lot more than the average citizen who's not a civil rights lawyer. So that's why I like to learn from his channel. So oh snap, my bad, y'all. I clicked off that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So this is cops rough up cancer patient, 300,000 lawsuit on the way. $300,000 lawsuit. So citizens are gonna have to pay this debt just because an officer wanted to be a tyrant. Can before we even play it, can you guess? Can you guess? Guess what? Guess what race this is? Before we even get started, guess what race this probably is? Cop roughs up a cancer patient. Truthfully, it could be anybody. To be honest, it really can be anybody. But let's see how it goes. I make sure the speed normal. All right, let's go.
Long Beach will pay $300,000 to settle a lawsuit alleging that officers roughed up a cancer patient.
Hey, sir, stop. Stop. I will grab it.
Actually, my paperwork for my surgery yesterday.
Okay.
Look at this. Sir, this is actually my paperwork for my surgery yesterday. I'm just grabbing my paperwork. Look how they rush in on him for grabbing papers. They know he's not grabbing a weapon. They know he's not going anywhere. He's surrounded by them. Why did they rush in on him like that? But we all know.
I had surgery. Actually, my paperwork
Look how he
for my
came down on
surgery
him.
yesterday.
We'll grab it.
Actually,
This has nothing to do with helping nobody, anything like that. Control, control, control.
my paperwork for my surgery yesterday.
Control.
I had
Control,
surgery
control.
yesterday. Be careful.
Hey, give me your papers.
Just let me move my
Give me your
paper.
papers.
I just had surgery.
Just relax your hands.
Sir.
You're not listening.
I just had surgery. That's my
You're doing a lot
paperwork.
of talking, not a lot of listening.
You're doing a lot of talking, not a lot of listening. I hate when cops say stupid stuff like this. This retard. What do you mean a lot of talking? All he said was, "Hey, I had surgery. These are the papers. Be careful." Can you just relax a little bit? He has no chill. He's not listening. His brain is not on anymore right now. It's just cop mode, control, tyrant, all just, you know, y'all know it's just frustrating. It's real.
I am.
Stop.
Just had a 4-hour surgery, and I'm.
What do you mean stop? When they say stop, they saying don't talk. They don't want you to talk. They don't want you to say nothing. They don't want you to. It's crazy. They'll throw you on the ground and you hit your face on the ground and you try to grab at your face or hold your face, and they'll say that's resisting, and you should have just sat there and been in pain and let your face throb in pain, and it's insane, man. Insane.
I'm just messed up.
So I'm surprised you're acting the way you are. I want to let you know you're lucky you didn't get tased. I want to let you know you're lucky you didn't get pepper sprayed or thrown to the ground. Think about that next time.
I will. I thought about it. I thought about it.
You might be going to jail now.
This is from the
Look, off the rip, you already know this is gonna be crazy.
Long Beach Post News. Long Beach officials have agreed to pay $300,000 to a man who sued, alleging he was threatened, beaten, and detained by police officers over an expired car registration in 2022.
They attacked this man over expired registration. Over expired registration. This man, they put him in cuffs, and I'm thinking they took him to jail. I haven't seen the whole video yet, but I'm thinking they took him to jail for this. For expired registration, they took him to jail after he just got out of surgery. This whole issue was non-violent. It was just a citation, really. Okay, your tag expired. Here's a ticket.
In a lawsuit,
It's how it's supposed to go.
filed in October, Johnny Jackson says he had just gotten out of the hospital after getting surgery to treat prostate cancer, and he had driven to Staples to make a copy of a doctor's note for his employer when the cops pulled him over on the way back to his Long Beach home. Body cam footage shows an interaction between.
Look how deep they is. What are they doing riding around 3 deep, pulling over? Come on, man. What are y'all doing?
Jackson and
That it's funny that this is in California because they definitely moving like gangbangers. Look, come on, man. Y'all really gangbanging.
Long Beach police officers on the afternoon of September 3rd.
Look, and now they about to come press him. What you doing over here, man? Hey, where you from?
2022. The video shows an unmarked police car outside Mr. Jackson's house, and then at least 3 officers quickly walk up his driveway and confront him.
Look,
one officer can be heard telling
he already was getting the papers out. He already knew
Jackson to stay in the car just before Jackson can be seen exiting his white car that's parked in his own driveway.
I like that LS 400.
Hi, I live here, so I don't have no weapons.
Okay, well, you can stay in the car. All right, you know what? Come over here. Fine.
Yeah.
Come over here. Very well.
No weapons.
No, let's speak beside your head.
Is it?
No, let's speak beside your head. Face that way. I'm going to speak slow.
Grab my paper, man. Grab my paper. He ain't made no attempts to grab the paper.
Your fingers.
Hey, sir, stop. Stop.
paper-
I
This
will
is
find a way.
actually my paperwork for my surgery yesterday.
Look,
Wait,
look,
wait, I had
look at this.
surgery
Hey.
yesterday. Be careful.
Hey,
okay?
give me your papers.
Just let me move my
Give me your
paper.
papers.
I just had surgery.
Just relax your hands.
Sir.
You're not listening.
I just had
What's up, G-Man? Yeah, he's in his own driveway right now, and that's how they handling him in his own driveway. And the only reason they pulled him over for expired registration, but that's what they say. But they pulled him over just to mess with him, just to do what they're doing right now. That's why he got pulled over, because they wanted to do this right here. That's why he got pulled over.
surgery.
Hey,
That's my
You're doing a lot of
paperwork.
talking, not a lot of
I
listening.
am.
Stop.
Just
Listen to me. Put your hands behind your back. If you resist, you will get hurt.
If you resist, you will get hurt. They need to kick him out ASAP. Why is he still working saying stuff like that? Why is he still there? How is he not fired after a statement like that?
You hurt me, I will sue you.
Put your hands
I
behind your
just
back.
had
I'm giving
surgery
you a
yesterday.
warning. Put your
You
hands
hurt me, I will sue you.
behind
Don't
your back.
threaten me.
Put your hands behind your back.
Hey,
Don't
Johnny,
threaten me.
Johnny,
Yes, sir.
can you listen to us?
This guy threatened me.
Okay.
I will get hurt.
Come over here, Johnny. Johnny,
Just
come
let
over
me-
here.
Don't force me. I just had surgery.
not-
Walk over
I just
there.
had surgery, sir.
Control. I just want to display my ego. I want to be in charge. I want to rah, 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 rah. That's it. That's all this is. Do you know you have to be such a weak man to act like this? It's no way you tough for real. There's no way you tough for real.
Spider. I'm not. Look, let me work it. Let me. What are you doing?
Hands behind your back. Don't put your hands behind your back and go into jail
Let
right
me
now.
put my hands behind my back.
What is going on with you?
I told the guy I just had surgery. You don't have to do it. I just had surgery. Please be careful.
Where'd you have surgery? Come here.
Cancer.
Like they care.
Cancer.
What is your issue?
What is this?
Have a seat.
I just had cancer.
What is your issue?
It's no issue.
What is this issue that they're asking? It's like you become a cop and you become a manipulator, a psycho, a sadist, a tyrant. You become all of these things, and you give up it's like you give up your human and you become all of these other things. Now, why would they try to fabricate an issue or fabricate that he's having an issue when he hasn't done anything wrong? He got out the car with his paperwork in his own driveway, and this was the response. And he's saying, "Hey, treat me with some care. Don't just try to manhandle me around. I just had surgery. Can you relax a little bit? This, you see, once you say, once you start standing up for yourself and just want to be treated with some decency, you have tyrants like that officer is that starts yelling at you and trying to like this, and then you go over here. Now he's trying to ask you, well, what surgery did you have? You don't care what surgery I had. You like, when they start asking questions after they got you in handcuffs, all of that, or when they manhandling you or something like that, and they go to start asking you questions, they don't want the answer to the question to help you. They're trying to see, well, what information can we get out, or how can we get them more comfortable with giving us information so we can use it against them somehow. That's it. It's not to help. I hope people start realizing that. You know, it took me a while to realize that, like, nothing you say is probably gonna help you. Even you can think of the smartest thing to say, you can recite, you know, the law, case law verbatim, and you know, it may help you sometimes, but it's more likely to not help you than, you know, it is to help.
I just want to come.
What is your issue?
There's no issue.
Okay, why can you not listen to anything we're saying? Why do you think you're running the show here?
I'm not.
You're not. That's right.
I'm not. You guys are.
Why did we have to get to this point?
Look, that's it. Well, we're running the show. They tell on themselves all the time. Like, you can tell the mindset they have. Like, oh, we're running the show. We're controlling the scene. You know, you're not controlling the scene. We're controlling the scene. Like, that is so goofy to me. Like, it's like, what type of they really are clowns. Like, it's really a clown show. Oh, we're controlling the situation, controlling the scene. Bruh, this man just got you controlling the scene with an older man who just had surgery in his driveway, and you talking about controlling the scene. Rah, 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 rah. You're not engaged in the shootout, chasing like, you're not engaged in nothing serious, and y'all already escalating to this level. Come on, man. Imagine if y'all really had to deal with something. If y'all acting like this with the most mundane, low stress scenario, get out of here. Talking about y'all pulling him over for expired registration. Three cops jumped out of the truck behind him and for expired registration. Get out of here. Y'all jumped out just to do this right here. Just to do this. This situation that this man is in right now, he didn't, in my opinion, he didn't do nothing wrong. The only thing that, you know, he just, you know, it's just a bad day, man. It's just a bad day because of tyrants like this running the streets.
You saw us back there pulling you over. You kept driving into your driveway.
Yes, sir.
Why?
One, my car.
This question here, no matter how he answers it, they've already formulated their own conclusion about the answer to this question. Really, I don't feel like he should answer this question, but I think it's pretty simple. Well, if you pull me over close to my house, I'd rather just pull up to my house. I mean, you're gonna know if you're pulling me over, you're gonna have my ID and everything anyway. So I might as well just pull to my house. So after I deal with this BS of y'all harassing me, I can just go inside and chill. Well, not chill, because I won't be able to. I'm gonna have to decompress and relax, and you know, get myself together after this type of situation happened with me. It's not like he was running on a high speed chase trying to get to his house. All he did was pull to a place where he felt safe. Where do you feel the most safe? In your own home, in your own yard. Cops are ridiculous, man. These cops are ridiculous. Let me be specific.
Yeah.
Have December tags on them. Actually, it's June,
What's up, Mitch?
so that's why I
MGM.
pulled in the driveway, sir.
So why are you forcing us to use force on you?
Well, when this officer threatened me that he was going,
Because you're not
I
listening.
was explaining to him I just had surgery.
That's fine. You're still not listening.
I'm listening.
Now you are. After we got to this point. Can you turn the radio off? Why did we get to this point?
His aggressiveness. That's why, officer. I would just.
You still weren't listening to me. You weren't listening to my partner
There
here.
was 3 people talking to me at the same time.
No, there was not.
Yes, actually, there were 3 people talking to him at the same time. Let's look at it again.
I'm gonna speak slow.
Look at and they do that on purpose. They know they do it on purpose. Then they try to act like, no, it wasn't. Bro, y'all took an oath. They took an oath to the Constitution to protect and uphold and all this BS about serving the community and all of that BS. And this is their version of protecting, serving, upholding the Constitution, and doing right by the community. This is what how is this helping any citizen in this community? How? What about this helps any citizen in the community? None. It doesn't help anybody. It just costs the taxpayers $300,000 over some BS.
Hey, sir, stop. Stop. I
This
will
is
grab it.
actually my paperwork for my surgery yesterday.
Okay.
Wait, I had surgery yesterday. Be careful.
Hey, give me your papers.
Just let me move my
Give me your
paper.
papers.
I just had surgery.
Just relax your
Don't
hands.
do sir.
You're not listening.
I just had surgery. That's my
You're doing a lot of
paperwork.
talking, not a lot of
I
listening.
am.
Stop.
We each individually tried to talk some sense into you,
And then when my paper flew down.
and I caught it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you were the one. Okay.
So why does it have to get to this point?
It doesn't.
Then why did it? Why can't you just listen to what we have to tell you? But you kept driving into your driveway.
Yes, sir. I did.
Why? What are you supposed to do?
I was coming back home.
What are you supposed to do? That's not my question.
What you were supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do
I
when
was
you get pulled
supposed
over?
to pull over.
Okay, what did you do?
Show you guys all the paperwork.
And what did you
I
do?
parked in the driveway.
Okay.
He pulled over in his driveway. I hate when soon as we turn on the lights, you need to put like right then and there, man. Hey, I'm pulling over here in a safe place. I'm at my home. Come on, man. That's just like when they pulled over the kids in the Uber driver that were doing Uber. They pulled them over, and instead of when he hit the lights, instead of the kid pulling right over in the middle of the street, he pulled over to where he was doing his delivery. And they come up, well, why didn't you just pull over right then and there? And like if I wanted to go on a high speed chase, I would have went on a high speed chase, not pulled into my own house like that. How crazy is that? I'm gonna escape from you and go to my own house. What?
I just had a 4-hour surgery and I'm just
terrible,
messed
man.
up.
That's terrible.
So I'm surprised.
That's terrible. This man just had surgery, and he just trying to get home and recover from his surgery, and he get treated like that for a so-called expired tag or something like that. Man, get out of here, man.
Why is you acting the way you are?
Then they try to you're acting this way, you're acting this way. Psychopaths, man, pure psychopaths. Sociopath, psychopath, moron.
Just want to get home, get that paperwork so I can get it to my
Rock
job.
rings.
And that was it, officer. And I got
I'm
pulled
surprised
over.
you got to the point where you did, if that's really the case.
But the threat, officer, wasn't necessary.
What threat?
the officer right here.
By law?
By law, he said he was going to hurt me. So what?
Yes, by law.
I threw
Can you
my
stop,
key.
Johnny?
Go ahead.
By law,
I wish Johnny would just not say nothing and say, I don't want to hear what you got to say. Do what y'all got to do, man. I'm not, but see, this man is in a very vulnerable state because he just had surgery. He just had surgery. He probably, it's probably so much going on with him right now. He just had surgery. And this is how they dealing with him. But man, I hate that they trying to lecture this man. He's a grown man, probably older than all of them. And they trying to talk to him as if he's a child. Or this bullshit, man.
have to tell you that we will use force on you if you're not cooperating.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what he said. He said, I will hurt you, not we will use force. He said, I will hurt you.
Actually, that is completely false. It is a violation of an individual.
And I love that. That's why I love watching the civil rights lawyer, because here's the truth.
Fourth Amendment rights under the U.S. Constitution for police officers, agents of the government, to use violence in response to a citizen's passive resistance. In other words, verbal noncompliance or very minimal passive physical resistance. They're not allowed to just use violence against somebody because the individual didn't obey their commands. At least not under more serious circumstances, such as the guy's holding a gun or something like that and refuses the order to drop the gun. So, no.
And
Did you know that?
Well, I know one thing.
Did you know that, yes or no?
Yes.
You did, but you're still questioning why we did that, because it's a threat, apparently.
But it was just a threat. I was going to
By
comply
law,
with everything.
no, you
officer.
weren't.
Then they make up stuff by law. The lawyer just said they just say anything. Or did you know that? Did you know that? Hey, Johnny, did you know? Like, that stupid game that they play, man. You just know that it's some bullshit, and it's never a good idea to try to go back and forth with them. You know that you can't battle stupid. That's what we try. We try to think that we can battle stupid by being smarter. But if you try to battle stupid, it usually nobody wins. Nobody wins when you try to battle stupid.
Yes, I was.
By law, we have to tell you we're going to use force on you.
Okay. Okay, officer.
I want to let you know you're lucky you didn't get.
Look at it. Oh my God, bro. Come on. Bro, take your ass on, bro. Why did you just sit here lecturing him? The man, they see this man obviously doesn't want to deal with this right now. He's like, okay, whatever you say. Now he's so we see that he's we see what position he's in. So let me try to lecture him more for some BS. Like, oh my.
Get tased. I want to let you know you're lucky you didn't get pepper sprayed or thrown to the ground.
Why would he get pepper sprayed, thrown to the ground, tased, whatever, when he didn't do nothing? He hasn't done anything this whole time. But politely ask that you don't just throw him around because he just had surgery. That's a reasonable request. And y'all pulling him over for what? Expired registration. Come on, man. Give that man some respect. But they don't respect us. But they will in those depositions.
Think about that next time.
I will.
Now they're trying to, you think about that. You think about what you did. What type of psychopath?
I thought about it. I thought about it.
You might be going to jail now.
Now you might be going to jail now. Bro, why are you wasting my time with these useless words that you're trying to throw at me? What are you doing? Just going on at this point, going on about your business, do what you got to do. And ain't trying to lecture his grown man as if he's a child and needs, come on, man. Then y'all just making up stuff and all this over expired registration and him saying, hey, handle me with care. I just had surgery.
The officers ultimately cited Jackson for having an expired car registration and resisting arrest, according to Mr. Jackson's lawsuit. And it also says that Jackson then checked into an emergency room for injuries suffered during this interaction with the
Good job.
police. Jackson's lawsuit, which named the city of Long Beach and its police department as defendants, accused the officers of using excessive force, acting negligently, and violating his civil rights. The Long Beach City Attorney's Office and the Long Beach Police Department declined to comment on the allegations in the lawsuit. But on Tuesday, the City Council agreed during its closed session meeting to settle this case and to pay out $300,000 to Mr. Jackson. The Long Beach Police Department declined to say whether or not the officers involved in this situation faced any disciplinary action. And we know what that means, doesn't it? No, they did not. Here, I would agree that there is an excessive force claim here because they had the legal right to perform a traffic stop. When he pulled into his driveway, they had the legal right to conduct that traffic stop in the guise.
Now, of course, they have the legal right and to do this and that, but you know, I don't believe this was just about. Well, we all know, we don't know, but come on now, I don't believe that this stop was about an expired registration. I just do not believe that. And to Jima to comment on your comment, this is upsetting to anybody who's a human being. You know, it's not really, you know, it's a human being thing. You know, it's like I say, it goes beyond color. Just color adds another layer to this, you know, but you still have all of these layers, but just color is just like another added layer on that you have to be aware of. But anybody who's a human being and it's just, you know, functions with compassion, empathy, and just uses regular logic and is not insane would see this and, you know, I think would have the same reaction.
Driveway. But
or would be just as upset as anybody else.
It's the way that they performed that traffic stop. And look how they escalated the situation right from the very beginning. 3 officers, one then goes off to the side, has to sort of surround the guy. They were very aggressive. They were very threatening. And, you know, that's just not how you treat people in the community. And when you do, you get reactions like this, people who are immediately afraid of you, and for good reason. This police officer then tells him, look, if you don't listen to us, we are going to use violence against you. And that, as I explained, is unconstitutional. Police are allowed to use violence pretty much just like we are as citizens. It's a self-defense analysis. It's when it's objectively reasonable to use violence, which almost always is going to be to protect yourself or others from either somebody else's violence or the reasonable imminent possibility that they're going to be using violence. I mean, rarely are police officers allowed to use violence just to take somebody into custody or to force them to comply with their orders. I mean, the only exceptions being like somebody who is a dangerous fleeing felon. We're talking about a extremely minor traffic stop. You look at the gram factors.
That's what I was saying.
The severity of the crime at issue is very, very low. There's no immediate threat to these police officers at all. This is just one of those respect my authority or we're going to use violence against you incidents. And while they didn't tase the guy, they didn't shoot him, they didn't beat on him, they did manhandle him. I think there's a very
and they made it known that they didn't do all that. Like that's their normal programming. Hey, you lucky we ain't beat you, tase you, pepper spray you, or kill you. You lucky that didn't happen. You know, that could happen now. Like, what do you mean? Oh, is that what y'all doing on a daily basis for regular traffic stops that aren't a big deal? That's where you ready to take it. That should tell you something. That should tell you to get rid of them right now. The fact that they're even bringing that up in a situation like this, that's why I said these are baby situations. They haven't even been in nothing real yet, and they acting like that. Come on, man. Come on.
Very good claim there that would fall under excessive force. Also, one thing they didn't sue over here that I believe would qualify is First Amendment retaliation, because that's what they're doing, is retaliating against him for, you know, the fear that he's expressing to these police officers. And expressing fear is the same thing as criticizing a police officer, criticizing your government, which we have a protected First Amendment right to do. And in response to that exercise of his First Amendment right, he was retaliated against. He was put into handcuffs. He was put in the back of the police car. He was manhandled and so on. Anyways, good for this guy that he got a $300,000 settlement. But it's too bad that these cops weren't disciplined or otherwise. But spread this video, and then maybe that will end up happening. As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it.
Yeah, man. Civil rights lawyer always come through, man. He always do an amazing job. That's why I always like watching his videos. Yeah, I'm glad he got 300K too, because you need some type of compensation to deal with that type of trauma that you're gonna have to live with for the rest of your life. You never forget those moments. Never. I remember these type of moments when I was a little kid, from cops violating me at a young age. I didn't even know that they were breaking laws. I didn't even know that they were being tyrannical. You know, I didn't even know that what they were doing, they were supposed to get in trouble for it, but they did, you know. And I didn't know who to go to or how to file a complaint, you know, being a kid. Like, my first interactions with police and them being tyrants started when I was like 11 or 12 years old. And I still remember how just disgusted I was with them, and how they viewed me without even knowing me, based on nothing except how I looked, I guess. You know, I had terrible experience. This is why I never really had respect for them like that, because they never acted like, they never acted human. They always act like they were better than someone, or like it was just, you know. And still, when I grew up, I still didn't go out and say, oh, every cop's a tyrant, they're a tyrant, they're a tyrant, or that. I still didn't have that thought until I got older, and I realized how much they are doing that is against their oath. Yeah, you got to. And then I've been in the court system, and I've seen how that operate, and I see how they view our lives when our lives are on the line or our lives are being represented. You know, they talk crazy about us. Whether you the victim or whoever, they talk crazy about you. And nobody really cares. It's just like regular scheduled programming. They're gonna laugh and go play golf after that court appearance, even though lives and families are impacted. It's it's terrible. Hold on, y'all. So we're gonna check out this deposition. Hold on. Yeah, but it's always amazing to me. So we got, let me share this tab. We got, I think that's Kim before the storm. And this is update. 7 new charges filed, false arrest, and then they put terrorists. So let's see what's going on.
I'll tell you what, you're under arrest. So get out of the car.
Get out of the car. What am I under arrest?
Y'all remember this one? Is this the one where you
get out of the car? All right, you're free to go. Because I was going to try to talk to him afterwards and ask him not to put this shit on YouTube.
A lot's happened in the last few months since the false arrest at Thousand Trails. This video gets you caught up on everything, including the complaint I filed with the sheriff and their response, the 7 charges Yavapai County Sheriff's Office filed after the video went viral, how I was declared a terrorist because of my YouTube channel, the motion to suppress, motion to dismiss, and the start of trial, 3 charges that were dismissed by the judge, and then the state appealed on a technicality, and now we're going back to trial.
What? This is ludicrous. What? It's so much crazy stuff going on here. We got 7 charges filed after his video went viral. That within itself that's a red flag. That is a red flag. You get 7 new charges when your video go viral. Look at what they trying to do. Then they say he was declared a terrorist because of his YouTube channel. Do you know what it means to be labeled a terrorist? That's because of a YouTube channel. Just because you decided that you're going to show the tyranny that goes on, they label you a terrorist. That's crazy. That's why you got to be, I tell people, like, other than or going out there and exercising your First Amendment right, it's a lot more to it than just going out there and, filming with your camera. I'm telling you that it's a lot that goes into it. That's why I say, people, you need to be prepared and know you're doing it for the right reason, to actually do it like with the right intention, because being labeled a terrorist is no joke. That's not something you play around with. And to think they doing that just based off a YouTube channel. And I'm telling y'all, that's why I really, I say what I want, but I carefully choose the words I want to use to express that thought, because you mess around and say the wrong thing, and you end up listed as one of these for nothing. 3 charges drop. 3 charges drop or dismissed by the judge. Then they got appealed by the state, and they brought the charges back. Wow. Wow.
I also did a FOIA request and got back more body cam that I'll be going over in future
All right,
videos.
see you later, Juma.
The false arrest happened on the 8th, and I filed the complaint the next day with Lieutenant Johnson of the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. I went over what happened the previous day, and that based off of the circumstances, the first 2 officers to approach escalated the situation, violated the 4th Amendment regarding search and seizure, as well as make a false arrest for disorderly conduct. I got a response from Lieutenant Johnson 11 days later on the 20th of the month. I wanted to let you know I reread your email below and reviewed the body-worn camera footage and the deputy's report. I will be addressing the things which should have been done differently. I responded back the same day and said, thank you for the update. May I please know what training will be reviewed and with what officers? Lieutenant Johnson responded the next day, I will review civil rights issues and communication/de-escalation skills with the first 2 deputies with whom you spoke. Our agency is also developing additional classroom and scenario-based training on de-escalation and civil rights issues for the patrol deputies. I again responded back the same day, the 21st of the month, and said, if I understand correctly, your officers violated my right to be secure in my property, escalated the situation, committed disorderly conduct and assault, but are not facing any discipline and will only be reviewing training. Clearly, Johnson wants this swept under the rug. No response from Lieutenant Johnson. I follow up a week later on the 27th of the month and say, I'd like to escalate this complaint if you are not going to respond to my question. What are the next steps I need to take? Internal affairs or what? May I please have this information? Again, no response from Lieutenant Johnson.
That was it.
But something very interesting did happen the same day. This is tyranny and corruption at its finest. Lieutenant Johnson emailed Captain Tom Bolts, and with no new information except for the YouTube video going viral, completely reversed his decision. He writes, I reviewed the body-worn camera footage from this case and the subject's complaint email. I believe the complaint is unfounded and the deputy's actions and threatened actions were well within well-established case law and state statutes.
Wow. Wow. Look at the backpedaling that they did. Oh my goodness, man. What?
He goes on to say, at multiple points, they would have been justified in using more force against the complainant when he failed to follow their lawful orders in violation of multiple state statutes. More force, huh?
Break your window, drag you out.
Well, I'm sure they would have broke my window, but if these 2 ever arrest me, they better thank me for letting them. So Lieutenant Johnson reversed his decision with no new information. What else did he do? Johnson incorrectly cites Pennsylvania v. Mims and Maryland v. Wilson. You'll see coming up.
This is where they try to use. This is where cops are like, they do the craziest stuff, and then they try to find a way to manipulate things to work in their favor. So they'll use, these case laws that kind of say what they're trying to say, but it really doesn't. And they misinterpret it, or they think that I believe that they just feel like people aren't smart enough to discern things, or maybe they're just dumb enough to think that this really it is really for their favor. But they'll quote stuff that's really in your favor, but they didn't interpret it correctly, so they think it serves them.
Shortly, the judge agreed this was not a lawful traffic stop. Johnson then goes over second by second in the video and outlines all of the different charges he thinks they could charge me with if this was a lawful stop. The crimes I supposedly committed were ARS 28622, failure to comply with a police officer, 132508, resisting arrest, 133102, misconduct involving weapons, 132412, refusing to provide truthful name when lawfully detained, and 281595, failure to stop or provide driver's license or evidence of identity. But Johnson's not done yet. He sends officer evidence of identity. 895, failure to stop or provide driver's license or evidence of identity.
Wow.
But Johnson's not done yet. He sends Officer Hooten back out to the Thousand Trails campground 21 days after the original event to interview this new cast of characters that you'll be getting body cam video of soon. At this same time, Captain Tom Bolts gets his pink panties in a bunch and goes on a tirade emailing over 30 people, including all of Sheriff Northern Patrol, and tell them to check out defendant's YouTube channel.
I just want to stop and make a point that I tell people when we go out and do this, or you want to go exercise your rights and you want to share your content with and share your stories. Remember what you are up against. That's why when I hear people and they talking crazy and rah, rah, and it's different when you really like that and in real life and you really on that type of time. But if you're just doing it to make your video more entertaining, you got to realize that you're dealing with you're not just dealing with that department, you're dealing with all the departments in the area. So this captain sent this to 30 people and told them all to watch this guy. How many people you got on your side, watching out for you, or who are able to just pull up and check out the scene, make sure nobody following you, and a whole bunch. This stuff gets real serious. He get real serious, and a lot of people think it's just some videos on YouTube. It go way deeper than that.
Thanks for that, by the way, Tom. Interesting.
Crazy. He emailed over 30 plus people and told them to check out all his videos. Let's see what we can get on him.
I'm already a defendant, not a suspect.
Oh.
He also contacts Yavapai County Sheriff Office Criminal Investigation Bureau and asks them to work up a threat assessment on me.
Right.
And finally, good old Tom contacts the local terrorism liaison officer, Brian Horan. I mean, what a name, right? But Tom advises Brian to have his officers be on the lookout for me. I guess I'm a terrorist now. We all know this isn't about law and order or justice. This is about two tyrants abusing their position and coming against a citizen with the full force of the government for their own personal vendetta. They know there's little chance for them to see repercussions for their actions, which is why we need to abolish qualified immunity and establish citizen review boards across the country. Okay, let's do a quick recap. On the 8th of the month, I get falsely arrested. I file a complaint on the 9th. I also upload the video of the false arrest to YouTube on the 9th.
Right away.
On the 21st, Lieutenant Johnson replies back to my complaint and agrees there were civil rights issues and unnecessary escalation.
He agreed that was civil rights issues, said it was unnecessary escalation. I hope if he got these emails, man, it's
by the first two officers. On the 23rd, the YouTube video of false arrest goes viral and the sheriff starts to receive phone calls. The 27th, I ask Lieutenant Johnson to escalate my complaint. Johnson doesn't respond back to me, but what he does do is reverse his decision from a week prior and email Captain Tom Bolts telling him the officers not only should have escalated, but should have even possibly used deadly force.
Wow. So now he reversed his decision and said, we should have killed you. we should have really hurt you so you wouldn't have. I did not think this is what's going through their mind. They did not think it was going to escalate this far. So he tried to smooth them over, like, yeah, we're gonna check it out, make sure everybody's good. We're sorry that happened to you. I agree with you, man. That shouldn't have happened. We're gonna do better on our part. The video blow up and they get all these phone calls. Boom, boom. They get these phone calls saying, y'all tyrants, y'all blah. So, and then Kim, he didn't the lieutenant stopped emailing him back, and answering his questions. So he says, "Hey man, I'm not just gonna lay down on this. I want to escalate it and take it up further. So, who do I need to talk to for that?" He Lieutenant, man, he said, "You know what? I'm taking all that back what I said. And you know what? They should have did even worse to you, man, because you steady throwing in our side, man. They should have just took you out completely. Like this is this is insane, y'all. This is crazy. Oh man. Imagine if he didn't have any type of following or the video didn't go viral. Come on, man.
A couple days later, on the 29th, Lieutenant Johnson tells Officer Hooten to go out and reinvestigate the incident from Thousand Trails on the 8th. You'll see how disgusting this guy is by leading the witnesses to make sure he can get them to say what he needs so he can file a complaint. And around this same time, Captain Tom Bolts goes on his little tirade. So given everything that's happened, I think we can guess what happened next. That's right. 7 charges filed and a warrant issued.
Wow. That is serious. 7 charges. He got 7 charges. And they issued a warrant for his arrest. Wow. All because he didn't just let them get away with it. All because he wanted to stand up and get the story out there so people could see this is the type of stuff that can happen.
The charges they ended up going with after their reinvestigation were
how you threaten him with 2 disorderlies, 2 threatening or intimidating. So they saying he's the one threatening and intimidating. They got him with resisting arrest, failure to provide ID. If he felt, how did y'all even charge him with all this stuff if y'all didn't find out his ID? Failure to comply with police officer. Man, come on. All of this over a bogus traffic stop that wasn't even legal to begin with. Based on what the lieutenant said. So, come on, man.
Were 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of threatening or intimidating, 1 count of resisting arrest, 1 of failure to provide ID, and 1 of failure to comply with a police officer. And 2 days after the warrant was issued, I was arrested while picking up FOIA documents at the local sheriff department. Johnson was so happy he sent out an email to the entire sheriff's department saying that they had captured the sovereign citizen terrorist Kem before the storm. Now, I'm not taking any deals and we're going to trial, but before we do, I file a few pretrial motions. I filed a motion to compel evidence. The first time I met with the prosecutor, they said they were giving me all the evidence they had, and I knew there was more out there, so I just dropped this one first. I also filed a motion for judicial notice, a motion to suppress based off of Fourth Amendment violations, a motion to dismiss, and issued several subpoenas. Things started off positively, with the judge granting my motion to suppress based off of Fourth Amendment violations, and I immediately filed my motion to dismiss. Here's the order the judge wrote regarding the motion to suppress. The court finds that Yavapai County Sheriff's Office deputies intentionally and effectively restrained the defendant's freedom of movement when the deputies blocked the defendant's vehicle, verbally advised the defendant that he was under arrest, attempted to forcibly enter the defendant's vehicle, and then threatened to break the driver's side window. Despite the fact the defendant was not removed from the vehicle or handcuffed, a reasonable person in the defendant's situation would have considered himself arrested given the level of restraint imposed by Yavapai County Sheriff Office deputies under the present circumstances. The court further finds that at the time of arrest, Yavapai County Sheriff's Office deputies had no probable cause to believe the defendant had committed a crime, nor did the deputies possess sufficient articulable facts or circumstances at the time which would rise to the level of reasonable suspicion. Yavapai County Sheriff's Office deputies unlawfully arrested the defendant without sufficient probable cause in violation of the defendant's Fourth Amendment rights.
Well, I mean, that pretty much wraps up everything right there. The courts, wow, that's it right there. He did an amazing job to be able to file all those motions, and man, I know that is such tedious work, and how you got to go back and forth. You got to all that you got to do all that without a lawyer is, man, it take a lot, you know, which most people aren't able to dedicate that much time and energy into. And and cops know that. That's why they get away most of the time. But then they run into people like this who, know a little something and not just gonna lay down. So they try to railroad them. They try to get them listed as terrorists, all type of stuff, just to get around this. But this order right here that the courts wrote is powerful.
So let's get this straight. The judge and the 7 million people that watched the original video all seem to agree that this was an unlawful stop, but somehow the sheriff's department and the state prosecutor still think it's worth charging me.
What?
Okay, so it's the first day of trial, and the prosecutor sits in their side, I sit on mine.
No way.
Okay, state prosecutor.
No way. Why is the prosecutor wasting taxpayers' money after this right here? Come on. The court order obviously tells you, but you still think it should be taken to trial? This is out of spite. What do they call this? What do they call this? Mitch, I know you know. MGM. What do they call that? I know it's a name for it. Something about the trial. I can't think of the name of what it's called, but they have a name for it. Something about the trial, like I can't think of the name right now. Malicious prosecution. Yeah, that's what this is. Thank you, MGM. I knew you knew. But yeah, that's what this is. Malicious prosecution.
You still think it's worth charging me. Okay, so it's the first day of trial, and the prosecutor sits in their side, I sit on mine. But before it starts, the judge needs to hear the motion to dismiss. And based off of the facts found in the motion to suppress, the motion to dismiss is granted. So 3 of the 7 charges.
Why are they even there? After he got that order, like, come on, they wasting taxpayers' money at this point. Why are they?
Charges are already out. Those keeping track at home, that's 2-0, me. The prosecutor is pissed. She's not going to be able to ask any questions about the stop they made on me in my truck. So even though they can't question about anything that happened at the stop, she puts up the lieutenant from the scene, and basically he gives his name and then gets off the stand. The next charming witness they call is the employee from Thousand Trails that started this mess, Ralph Kim Baker.
Wow.
Now, I don't want to get into any details so that they have a heads up, but this guy has already perjured himself several times.
He gives me the vibe of the campground host from the Lane Myers trial. He's the Doug Downey type of the Doug Downey energy.
While Kim Baker is on the stand, it comes out that the depositions the prosecutor was supposed to set up before trial did not happen. When the judge hears this, he stops the trial and sends us to the back where we can do depositions and then resume trial the next week.
That's crazy.
During this week, Little Miss Sunshine, Cynthia Giltner, the state prosecutor, took the opportunity to appeal the motion to suppress and motion to dismiss granted by the judge. She claims she should have been able to call witnesses at the suppression hearing. It's funny, I knew a suppression hearing is an evidence.
This is why are they going so deeply to this is tyranny on a deep level. Like they are deep in this conspiracy right here.
Hearing, and you should call witnesses, but she didn't. Okay, bye for now, Cynthia. So the state files an appeal on the motion to suppress and motion to dismiss, which I didn't even know they could do, but I'll get into that in a minute. On the motion to suppress, the state argued they should have been able to call witnesses at the suppression hearing. She was just too dumb to know they could have. On the motion to dismiss, the state argued the motion to dismiss was granted premature and prior to the evidence being presented by the state, which is case law.
What?
In the appellate case, State v. Gasparilla, they found that the trial court must first have evidence, not merely arguments of counsel, on which it can base its ruling before it may rule on a motion to suppress. I wasn't shocked when I got the appeal back, and the court found that the prosecutor should be allowed to have another suppression hearing with witnesses, and then the judge, if he's going to grant the motion to dismiss, should do it timely. So the case is supposed to resume trial in February, but before that, there's supposed to be an evidence hearing in January for the motion to suppress. I have a lot to post between now and then, including new body cam footage, a closer look at the FOIA information declaring me a terrorist, and new court audio. I really appreciate everyone that's helped support me in this. Links in the description if you want to contact anyone mentioned in this video or myself. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys down in the comments.
All right, y'all. So this is Kim Before the Storm. Y'all got to check out his channel. There's so much going on here. This is unbelievable. What? Unbelievable, man. That's tyranny firsthand. They definitely scared of him. They are definitely scared of him. And not only are they scared of him, they scared of what he represents. So they want to try to not only stop him, but stop anybody who's supporting him, or who is going to get inspired by him. Look at charges. Exactly, like this, all of them. Like, how you get double disorderly? Double, come on, man. Y'all just throwing stuff, and that's what they do. They just throw as many charges at you and hope maybe two of them stick. Like they just want to, like, it's really, man. They really throw shit against the wall to see what stick. They want to hide the truth, so they think stopping him will end it. Exactly. And that's why they say they said that they wish that they should have did more to him. They should have just took him out completely. That's what they said. They said we should have just took you out completely, man. We should just we was too lax, man. We should have just got rid of you completely. Is how they feel. And man, he is not letting up on them either. So yeah. But best believe he gonna have to, if he probably gonna have to move. If this happened in the county that he live in or the city that he live in, if he want to have a comfortable life, I don't know where he lives, but either you're gonna have to live like out in the rural area, but you try to live in the city after dealing with a situation like this, man, that is scary. He got the whole department plus other departments watching for him. It's terrible what they do. Just because somebody telling the truth, just because he's showing y'all that this is what happened. Come on, man. Y'all supposed to be honoring y'all oath, man. Can you all these people in this case took an oath to the Constitution. They were sworn in, every last one of them sworn in, put their hand up against the Bible or put their hand on the Bible, put the left hand up, said I swear and this and that to blah blah blah, and then they turn around and do this. Crazy, man. It's wicked, man. It's wicked. Yeah, they're gonna chill out, but believe me, they're gonna have eyes on them. They're gonna have eyes on them. Then they're gonna have a couple rogue officers that might want to just pull him over for maybe he didn't put on his turn signal, making that right turn. Same thing, they probably pulled him over to begin with, but they thought he was going for that BS. And we'll see. I'm interested to see how this play out. Right. Yeah, man. They was playing with fire with him. They thought he was just a simmering coal about to go out. Them coals that you think about to go out, but you thought it was done. No, they got a lot more flame left in them. Actually, they was just getting started. You thought they was going out. They was just getting heated up. All right, I got some more videos lined up. I want to watch this deposition. So this is from the James Freeman channel, and it's titled "Turning Away from an Officer is an Act of Aggression." This is the deposition. They didn't list the original video to this deposition, but I'm thinking the deposition is gonna, pretty much explain itself once they start asking questions.
Knowles take any aggressive action against anyone that day?
When officers approached him and went to talk to him.
That's a yes or no question, but they're not going to answer a yes or no. So this is his answer to that yes or no question.
And he turned away from them, I believe could be constituted as an aggressive manner, because you don't know what an individual is capable of doing when they turn away from you.
Are you familiar with the protections that the First Amendment provides citizens related to speech?
I know they have the right to free speech. If you're asking me the correct definition, then I'd have to say no.
Did you receive any?
He has to say no, but he is a sworn. I think this is a sworn officer who who swore to protect and uphold the Constitution, but he don't know he don't know. I don't know how they not embarrassed, how they not ashamed to say that when they don't know what they swore oath to.
Trading related to constitutional rights of citizens?
Yes, sir. That was part of the academy training.
Did you receive First Amendment training?
I believe so. It was covered under the Constitution part of the academy.
Do you remember any details from that First Amendment training?
To be honest,
that means that Constitution training that they say they get is some BS. It's some bullshit, and they probably don't. They probably tell the officers, y'all don't really have to take this serious like that. Don't nobody really be caring about their rights or nothing like that. Don't worry about this, man. Everybody pass. Everybody gonna, this the credit stuff that we do just to say we did it. That's the type of Constitution training. They weren't intense about it. Like, hey, this is what you swearing your oath to. You need to live and die by this, or live and serve by this. This is what you live and serve by. This is how you serve and protect. You go based off of this Constitution, based off of this. Then we have, we have our ordinances and things like that. But this comes first. This Constitution right here, I bet it's not emphasized like that. That's why he don't remember nothing from it.
Honest with you, sir, that was almost 17 years ago. I don't know that I could
17 years ago, he ain't look at the Constitution since.
give you an exact on that, sir.
What about the Fourth Amendment?
No, sir.
Do you believe that citizens are legally required to assist law enforcement officers in investigations?
After the first 3 months, he forgot all about that constitutional training. So he's been running off of whatever he's been running off for almost 17 years.
I don't know that I can give you an answer on that. I believe that if an officer is investigating some sort of a crime and they're asking yourself or anyone else out in the public about that crime to gather enough information to find out if a crime's committed, then they have an obligation to answer.
And sir, do you understand that the testimony you give today has the same force and effect as if you were before the judge and jury?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Mr. Short, could you tell me your full name for the record, please?
Yes, sir. It's Keith Wayne Short.
And what did you review to prepare for your deposition here today?
Paperwork on the case and video footage.
Could you be a little bit more specific? What paperwork and what video?
The video, sir, or I mean, the paperwork would be the arrest report. And then the other copy of paperwork was, let me read it to you, defendant's response to plaintiff's request for production. Does that cover it? Those are the two pieces of paperwork.
Those are documents in the case.
Yes, sir.
But not all of them. Could you tell me what video you reviewed?
Yes, sir. It would have been the in-car video for myself, Dial, and Clark.
And did you review that video in its entirety?
I believe so, yes, sir.
When did you review that video?
It would have been yesterday.
How many times did you watch it?
Twice, if I remember correctly. I don't think I watched them completely end to end the second time.
But you did the first time?
Yes, sir.
And where were you located when you reviewed that video?
At my residence. Do you need the city?
Yes, please.
Okay, in McClendon, Chisholm, Texas.
How long have you been a police officer?
Roughly 17 years, sir.
Have you arrested a lot of people during that time?
I've arrested people during that time, but I couldn't tell you how many.
So like I said, for 17 years, he's been running wild without knowing the Constitution, that he's arrested people. So many of his arrests are probably unlawful because he doesn't know the law. He doesn't know the rights of the people. So I can only imagine how many people he violated and put in a cage without even knowing what he was doing. He don't even know what he's doing. Just locking people up, ruining their lives, throwing away, and just running around terrorizing people.
Could you provide an estimate?
I don't believe I could provide you with an accurate one. In 17 years, I would probably say an average of one a year.
You get down, man. One a year, boy.
So at least 17.
Come on, man.
What police departments have you worked for?
I've worked for the Cattle Mills Police Department, the Hunt County Sheriff's Office, and Royce City Police Department, and I'm currently employed by the Sunnyvale Police Department.
During your training before you became an active officer, did you receive any training related to constitutional rights of citizens?
Yes, sir. That was part of the academy training.
Did you receive First Amendment training?
I believe so. It was covered under the Constitution part of the academy.
Do you remember any details from that First Amendment training?
To be honest with you, sir, that was almost, 17 years ago. I don't know that I could give you an exact on that, sir.
Did you receive any Second Amendment training?
Repeat that again?
Yes. Did you receive any Second Amendment training during that training before you became an officer?
Yes, sir. There were multiple amendments of the Constitution covered during the academy.
Do you remember any specific details from the Second Amendment training?
Not off the top of my head, sir.
What about the Fourth Amendment?
No, sir.
After you became an active officer, have you received any training related to constitutional rights?
I've received so much training over my time as an officer. I can't tell you accurately if I have or I haven't.
Have you received any training related to the First Amendment since you became an officer?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Have you received any training related to the Fourth Amendment?
I don't know that I can give you an answer on that. I don't remember.
Do you believe that it's legal for you to arrest a person that's done nothing wrong?
Objection form.
I can still answer that. Can you restate the question one more time, sir?
Yes. Do you believe that it's legal for you to arrest a person that you do not suspect of a crime?
Objection form.
I don't believe it's legal to arrest somebody if they've done nothing wrong. No, sir.
How do you know that?
Sir?
How do you know that it's not legal to arrest a person that you don't suspect of a crime?
If it's not a law or if it's not a law that's on the books that they have, if there's a law on the books and they violated it, then yes, they can be arrested for. But if there's not a law on the books and they've done something, I don't have a legal right to arrest them.
I'm glad he said that. But the thing is, they make up their own laws. They'll make up their own law and say, yeah, you violating this law that I made up and pulled from, the turtle's ass. Like, get out of here, man.
How do you know what laws are on the, oh, sorry, please finish.
Oh, go ahead.
How do you know what laws are on the books?
Objection form.
That's a good question.
Sorry, sir.
Why are you going to that's a real good question.
Go ahead and answer that.
Yes.
Okay. Can you restate that one more time, Mr. Ellick? Go ahead and
Objection form.
Why did he try to he do not want go wow.
I'm sorry, sir.
Jeez.
Go ahead and answer that.
Yes.
You can tell how controlled this situation is.
Okay. Can you restate that one more time, Mr. Alexander?
How do you know what laws are on the books?
We have the book called the Penal Code, the Traffic Code, Transportation Code. There are books that have all the laws that are active in the state of Texas, and then the laws that come up through the legislative process each couple of years.
Do you review those materials regularly?
I don't quite understand what you mean.
You've said that you know what laws are on the books because various government agencies release books of laws. Is that basically
Yes,
right?
Objection form.
How do you know what's in those books?
If I need to look at charges, then I go in there and open that book and I look to see what's in there that may fit that particular situation. During the police academy, you're also trained on the majority of that, of the laws. They can't train you on every single piece, but they do train you.
do you often arrest a person or participate in an arrest and then review the books of laws afterwards to figure out what they may have committed?
Objection form. I'm sorry. No, sir.
But do you regularly review the books?
I don't regularly open the book and read it if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, you know that's.
Are you familiar with the protections that the First Amendment provides citizens related to speech?
He ain't look at that book. And, hey, bro, he ain't look at that book since he can't even remember last time he looked at that book, man. Get out of here. The only time they look at that book is when they trying to throw some crazy ass charges on somebody. That's the only time they look at that book. Let's see what we can get him with. We'll find something. That's when they look in the book. But they never look at that Constitution. They'll never look at the Constitution, but they'll look at the book to see what they could charge you with, some BS to charge you with. But they'll man, bro, they be real live scumbags, man.
I know they have the right to free speech. If you're asking me the correct definition, then I'd have to say no.
Are you aware or familiar?
You know they got free speech, but you don't know the definition of free speech. So what if they exercising their free speech, but you don't think it's right because you don't know what free speech is? You think that them talking louder than you would like is against the law or not within the confines of free speech. So you might arrest them for talking too loudly and then try to say it's disorderly. And come on, man. That's why y'all need to know and y'all need to review all the time the Constitution because y'all swore to uphold it. Then y'all got this law book full of probably some BS laws. And the only time y'all look at that book is to see how y'all could charge us with some bullshit, man.
With the protections that the First Amendment provides journalists?
Objection form. No, sir, I don't.
Do you think that journalists have the right to make recordings?
Objection form.
Yes or no?
Can you restate that one more time?
It's pretty simple.
Do you think that journalists have the right to record law enforcement during regular law enforcement activities?
Objection form.
Why are you objecting that? That's a yes or no question. Hey, so you're gonna object all the regular questions? Hey, come on, man. Come on. He's just gonna keep throwing out the objections. It's a yes or no question. Do you think that they have the right to record? Yes or no?
Okay. Yes, sir, I do, as long as they don't get in the way where it could pose a danger to themselves or others.
Okay. Okay. I'll note that.
Have you ever been involved in an arrest where someone was arrested for something they said?
Objection form.
Boy,
Yeah.
he gonna object to every question, man. Golly.
Am I to answer that?
Yes.
Okay. Other than this one that we're doing the deposition over, sir, not that I recall.
Wow.
So this is the
first
only arrest that you've ever been involved in where the person was arrested because of the content of their speech. Is that correct?
Objection form. If you're talking about the content of their speech, sir, I still stand my answer, but my understanding on this whole thing, it had to do with not only speech, but with language on the sign. So if you're meaning that for both, then yes, the only one.
So that's why you need to know the elements of free speech because it flows onto signs as well.
Have you ever been involved in the arrest of somebody that was recording something with a camera?
Objection form. I do not remember.
Wow.
So you can't remember any other time besides the arrest of Winston Knowles where the person that was arrested was engaged in recording something with a camera at the time of the arrest.
That's correct. I'm sorry. Did you get my answer, Mr. Alexander?
Golly, bro.
Yes, but Miss Massey.
Hold on. Joe Tooley going to object to every last question, man. Every question. God. Bro, man. They can't escape it, man. They got to answer to the bullshit that they got themselves involved in. Stop trying to protect them from the bullshit. Hold on, y'all.
Is more important than I. Do you think that people should be arrested for what they say?
I answered that before, and I believe I said no.
Have you ever been involved in an arrest involving a protester?
Not to the best of my knowledge, sir.
What about homeless people?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
So you can't remember any times that you've ever been involved in an arrest of a homeless person or a protester. Is that right?
That is correct, sir.
How did you find out that Winston Knowles was on that corner that day?
On my way back to the police department, I heard the call for officers to report that way, and that's how I heard about it. Or dispatched to that area, I guess is a better term to say.
And when you arrived, did you
hold on.
hear?
Hey, MGM, man, this is crazy. This is why I love depositions, man. They steady try to dodge, and you can't dodge all these questions, man. It's especially these yes or no questions. Hey, you come on, man. They don't know which way to turn. Objection. Yeah, man. He didn't already said so much in this, and this is like not even like we're not even halfway into it yet. He didn't say it. He didn't lock himself in.
Winston Knowles say anything to any bystanders?
At the time I arrived, no, sir.
Yep.
After you arrived, did you see the contents of Mr. Knowles' signs?
No, sir, I did not. Not until after everything was done.
When you say everything was done, do you mean after he was arrested?
Yeah, stop. After everything was done, you mean after y'all illegally arrested him? That's what you talking about? No, let's clear that up. We need to know what you're talking about right there.
After he was detained in some patrol vehicle, yes, sir.
Oh yeah, okay.
I apologize. Can you say that one more time? You kind of chopped up a little bit right there.
Yes, sir. After he was detained and placed in the back of a patrol vehicle, it was shortly thereafter that I saw.
Wow.
So before Winston Knowles was arrested, did you see or hear him say anything to anyone?
No, sir.
Mm.
Do you have any knowledge of any complaints that a member of the police department may have received related to Winston Knowles?
Other than the dispatch traffic that they were dispatched there, no, sir.
Mm.
What did they say about Knowles on the dispatch?
I don't believe they specifically identified him. And you're asking me to recall something from multiple years ago. It was a call to that location for an individual with signs that had profanity on them, if I remember correctly. But you're asking me to recall something that I don't have the ability to see that dispatch log to say.
Do you remember specifically what the dispatcher said was profane or allegedly profane?
No, sir.
Mm. all I think when this happens is you are obviously saying this was not a serious situation, yet you tried to arrest somebody for it. Oh man. This is this is I have yet to hear anything. I have yet to hear a reason for them to place this man under arrest or detain him. I haven't heard anything yet. Okay, he wrote some stuff on the sign, but he wasn't talking to nobody. He wasn't violent with nobody. He's in public, I'm assuming. So how did he end up detained?
How would you describe Noel's demeanor that day when you arrived on the scene?
That's why I say it was important that he asked that question. Did he know what the First Amendment, did he know the First Amendment? And he said freedom of speech, but he doesn't know what that means. He know we got freedom of speech, but he doesn't know what it means. Like, come on, bro. This is why this man ended up in a bad situation, because this officer or the officers on the scene didn't know the law. They don't know the law. If they just knew the law, he would not be in this deposition right now. If they knew the law and they followed the law, then he would not be in this deposition right now. Come on, man. You arresting people and for having they sign and recorded. Get out of here, man. How is that saving the community? How is that? What are you like? What? Come on, man. Oh, he got some bad words on the sign, bruh. We got real people out here struggling with man, all the homelessness that people got to drive by every day. People, when you go, man, come on, man. Have you ever drove around the hood and, man, listen, it's so much other stuff that these resources could have been allocated to.
I'm not quite sure what you're asking me there.
Did he seem hostile to you?
I didn't have any contact with this, so to answer your question on that, he was never hostile towards me.
Did you see him behave in a hostile manner toward anyone?
Yes, sir. But you're asking me for an opinion on what hostile is. I may have a different opinion than you on what hostile is. I did observe him not being cooperative, if you want to say that's hostile. He was not being cooperative when officers approached him.
That's because he didn't have to cooperate with the officers. It's crazy that they really think that as soon as they're on the scene, no matter what is happening, whether you broke a law or not, they think that you need to cooperate with them. I don't want to cooperate with you. Why would I? Cooperating with you is not going to help me. So why would I do it? What if I'm not committing a crime? You shouldn't even be dealing with me. You shouldn't be talking to me. You shouldn't be looking my way. You shouldn't be, unless you want to have a consensual conversation. But I'm not trying to have no consensual conversation with them. No, no, sir. The fact that, and then if you don't cooperate with them, even though they have no authority over you in a situation when you haven't committed a crime and you're not doing nothing wrong, they call that hostile. Man, that's like you walking up to somebody and you say, "Hey, come over here, sit on the floor," and they don't cooperate with you or they don't follow that ridiculous order that you gave them, and you say they being hostile because they ain't listening to you tell them to come over here and sit down. They don't. Why would they?
Do you think that Mr. Knowles had a legal obligation to be cooperative?
Objection, Farm.
No, we need the answer to that.
Based on them investigating a report of what was going on, I believe he had the legal obligation to answer questions. Yes, sir.
Get out of here, man. This is why you can't. This is why you need to know the Constitution. This is why they need to study the Constitution, and it needs to be brought up all the time. Just from that statement right there. And he knows the truth, but right now he's playing the game, dancing around it, and trying to. He's a liar, man. They always lie in these depositions. They never want to answer the question directly because they know if they answer the question truthfully, then they know they did the wrong thing. And that's how I know that they know they did the wrong thing. Because if you thought you was right, you would just answer the question.
Be cooperative?
Objection, Farm. Go ahead. Based on them investigating a report of what.
Hold on. Let's go back and figure out the question.
Hostile to you. How would you describe Knowles' demeanor that day when you arrived on the scene?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking me there.
Did he seem hostile to you?
I didn't have any contact with him with this, so to answer your question on that, he was never hostile towards me.
Did you see him behave in a hostile manner toward anyone?
Yes, sir. But you're asking me for an opinion on what hostile is. I may have a different opinion than you on what hostile is. I did observe him not being cooperative, if you want to say that's hostile. He was not being cooperative when officers approached him.
Do you think that Mr. Knowles had a legal obligation to be cooperative?
Objection, Farm. Go ahead. Based on them investigating a report of what was going on, I believe he had the legal obligation to answer questions. Yes, sir.
Do you believe that citizens are legally required to assist law enforcement officers in investigations?
Objection, Farm. Can you restate the question?
Do you believe that the law says that Winston Knowles had to cooperate with the officers?
Objection, Farm. I don't know that I can give you an answer on that. I believe that if an officer is investigating some sort of a crime and they're asking yourself or anyone else out in the public about that crime to gather enough information to find out if a crime's committed, then they have an obligation to answer.
And do you think a person who does not cooperate is hostile?
Objection, Farm. I don't know that I can answer that correctly, sir.
Yeah,
I think it depends on their demeanor at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just asking for your opinion, that's all.
They have the ability to, yes, or do I think everyone? No.
What?
Do you think that Winston Knowles' lack of cooperation meant that he was hostile?
Objection, Farm.
Gee, boy.
I believe that he was hostile in a way of not answering the questions. In the video, if I remember correctly, when officer spoke to him, he also turned his back to them.
So?
In a manner which
that means I don't want to talk.
He said he was being uncooperative and was not going to be cooperative at that point.
Or it could mean nothing.
Do you think he deserved to be arrested for not being cooperative?
Objection, Farm. I don't have an answer for you on that. I wasn't the arresting officer, the ones that were doing the investigation.
Oh man.
I apologize. Could I get you to repeat the end of that answer, please? It's kind of muffled.
Yeah, it get kind of crazy on this part, huh?
Do you think he deserved to be arrested for not being cooperative?
Objection form.
I don't have an answer for you on that.
You don't have an answer. All it's yes or no. Yes or no.
Officer, the ones that were doing the investigation.
I apologize. Could I get you to repeat the end of that answer, please? It's kind of muffled.
Talking about this one right now, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay. I don't have an answer for you, Mr. Alexander, because I was not the arresting officer, nor was I the officer that was doing the investigation into that situation at that time.
So if you weren't the arresting officer and you weren't performing the investigation, what was your role there?
I was basically a backup officer for officer safety.
So could you tell me more about what that means?
It means I was there to ensure their safety and the safety of others. They were at an intersection where vehicles come through there.
So I notice how it's the safety of the officers before anything and everything. Officer safety before anything and everything. Imagine, man.
And
I never heard of soldier safety. If you're a soldier and you're going to fight, yeah, you want to stay safe, but your first instinct is to protect, or it's the first thing on your mind is not soldier safety.
The police officer, you can be on a
like, okay, so say you have your family in the house and somebody break in, and you got to defend your house, you got to protect your household. The first thing you thinking is father safety or man safety. No, you thinking of how am I going to protect my family? So with cops, their job is to protect the citizens and the people. But they like, no, we gonna protect ourselves. Come on, man. What's the point?
A call, you don't know going to that call. You may not have all the information of what's going on, who the subject is, who they may or may not know, what they're capable of. So we try to back each other up for safety.
What do you?
I think so. If anybody knows what. See, I don't know where this deposition is coming from. Like, I want to see the original video for this deposition. But I can tell it's some BS just based off of his answers. Before, without even watching the video, I know it's some BS. So David, I'm not sure if you know what video it is, let me know.
You think usually goes on a tripod?
Depends on the type of tripod you're asking.
I'm asking you, in your opinion, what are most tripods used for?
Objection form.
That's a basic question.
Well, sir, the tripods I'm used to seeing are ones that hold shop lights.
This man is objecting a tripod question. Hey, do you know what a tripod is for? Objection. Like, bruh, you just gonna object to every single question? Hey, how you object to a tripod question, man? Come on. What color tie you got on? Objection.
Of some sort to light the area up or to light up the work area.
Jima, welcome back, Jima.
And so where are shop lights usually used?
I'm sorry, shop lights, is that what you're asking me?
Where are they most often used?
Objection for.
It could be outside in a construction area. It could be inside a building under construction. It could be.
If any, can y'all let me know the original video that this deposition is for? Because I don't even remember the original video that this deposition is for, and it's not in the description of the video. But I would love to know. But I already know it's some BS just based off of him not wanting to answer questions and dancing around and dodging it, and man, I already know.
Multiple locations.
No, I didn't find it, Jimo.
Do you have a lot of experience with shop lights?
No, sir.
Objection.
What is your experience with shop lights?
Objection.
Objection for.
Other than using the one that I had when I was younger and doing work in my own garage or at my own residence.
When was the last time you used a shop light?
Objection.
It's been multiple years because I no longer own one with a tripod setup.
Is it more than 20 years?
Objection.
No, not that one. Between 5 and 10 years ago, I think, or well, hold on, probably around 10 years.
Have you ever used a shop light outside?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever used a shop light outside during the day?
Objection.
Not during the day, no.
Do you think that anybody would ever use a shop light outside during the day?
Objection.
For.
I don't know. I believe not, but I'm not everyone else.
Are shop lights used to light darkly lit areas?
Objection for.
I believe so, yes, sir.
So would you think it's unreasonable to need a shop light outside during the day?
Objection for.
Yes, sir.
Could you repeat that, please? It blurred a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever take pictures with a camera?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a phone with a camera feature?
Yes, sir, I do.
How often do you take photos with your phone?
Objection for.
I don't know that I would say once a day, but I've probably used it throughout the week. So to give you an accurate answer, I don't know. I use it throughout the week for different things.
Do you take over 500 photos a year?
Might have this video.
I don't believe so.
Do you think it's safely over 200?
Hold on,
I
y'all.
don't think it's that much.
This is the something. It's I know they're in Texas, so it's like the city name start with an M, but it's Texas. It's a Texas city that starts with M. Dang, I forgot what he said. I think he said it in the beginning of this. Stop sharing this one. My bad, y'all. Yeah, I think it was a I don't know the name of the city. James Freeman don't really have that much information on this video he posted. I'm just. Yeah, I'm not sure, y'all.
I may be off.
Do you think it's over 100?
That's probably pretty accurate. Yes, sir.
Do you have any experience with other kinds of cameras other than a cell phone?
Well, I'm kind of old, so I've the old Instamatic cameras that you would mail in to get developed, to all the way up to Canon AE1 cameras, and I have a little bit of experience with the newer 35.
I don't know if his name is Joe Tooley, because down here
cameras that hold the digital cards in them. So I have taken pictures with various types of cameras. Yes.
Counsel, I apologize to interrupt. Could we go off the record for just a moment?
Yes.
I'm okay with it.
Recording stopped.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just getting a lot of feedback from the other microphone, and I just don't want to miss anybody's testimony. Is it possible, Mr. Tooley, for you to mute or to do the setup we did last time, just so that I just want to make sure I hear everything correctly.
We switched computers, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need to put the witness back on this one like we had this morning, and let's see if that works.
Okay, thank you.
So he don't have his name up there. We have to watch it from the beginning.
Those are kind of important, I think. I said glasses are kind of important, I think.
Recording in progress.
Maybe it's it.
Back on the record at 1:28 p.m.
Did you see any light? Excuse me. Did you see any light being emitted from the device on the tripod that day?
No, sir.
But you thought it was a shop light?
I believe it was a tripod for a shop light. I wasn't completely sure what it was.
Did you know that something was attached to the tripod?
All I saw was what looked like black plastic attached to the top half of it.
And what does your cell phone look like? Does it look like black plastic?
With the OtterBox cover on it, yes.
And if you saw a cell phone that was on a tripod recording, would it look like what you saw that day?
I don't believe so, sir.
But you just said that a cell phone looks like black plastic. And if a cell phone is on a tripod, you don't think it looks like what you saw that day.
What I'm explaining, sir, is what I saw attached to the upper half of that tripod. I could not give you an accurate answer if I thought that was a cell phone or not.
Man, get out of here.
At what point did you find out what was on that tripod?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again? Because I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
Are you aware that the device on that tripod was a camera? Now,
No, sir, I was not. Not at the time. No.
Are you aware now?
I am now, yes, sir.
When did you learn that it was a camera?
I believe at the time that this whole legal proceeding started, which was over 2 years ago.
They still having that same mic issue. One of them needs to just turn off the mic. I guess they in the same room. That's why. Well, obviously in the same room, but one of them needs to turn off their mics.
When you say legal proceeding, do you mean when the plaintiff filed his lawsuit?
Yes, sir.
Why did you move the tripod that day?
To move it out of my way in case I needed to go in to help the two officers.
Why did you think you might need to help them?
Hey.
Again, when it comes to backup or, officer safety.
Boy, officer safety for what? Somebody holding up signs? This is why I just can't deal with this, man. Why are you acting like this for non? These are such mundane, low stress issues. It's not even an issue really because it's not doing nothing wrong. But this whole situation is like the lowest of the low, and you running in there with officer safety talking about you got to move out the mic, you got to move the tripod away because you might have to help your other officers. Come on, man. Come on. Get out of here.
I wanted the clearest point to get directly to them if the individual decided to become combative with the other officers.
Did you think that there was an emergency?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
Did you think that there was an emergency?
Yeah. Gma, I do have that setting on StreamYard, but it's not my computer, it's their computers. See, Joe Tooley up here, these are both, I think, his laptops. So he got both of them open. That's why both of them say his name. But they both had a mic open in the same room. That's why you're getting that echo. I can't really do nothing about that. They should fix that on their end, and that's what she tried to do earlier. But all they did was switch. All he did was move from being in front of that computer to being in front of the computer he in front of now. But they still didn't, at least somebody mute their mic while the other one is talking. But the reason that he don't mute the mic because he want to scream objection to every single question. So you got to leave the mic open to do that.
Not at that point in time, but I'm not quite sure. Are you talking about at the point that I was standing there or when I moved the tripod?
When you moved the tripod?
Yes, sir, because if I remember from looking at the video, to refresh my memory, that was at the point that Mr. Knowles, I believe, threw himself on the ground. So I wasn't sure what was going to transpire.
Threw himself on the ground.
Why didn't you step around the tripod?
There was, if you look at the video.
He threw himself on the ground. Okay. Now I really want to see the video because I got to see when he threw himself on the ground. Just like somebody put themselves in cuffs. Get out of here.
The ground, in the area, there's standing water and mud. I don't want to get muddy. I don't want to slip in the mud.
So you felt that that was the only choice that you could make in that moment?
To have a direct path to them, yes, sir. Or to have a better path so I didn't trip over the tripod, yes, sir.
Did you move closer to them after you moved the tripod?
Yes, sir.
Did you help them with the arrest after you moved the tripod?
No, sir.
Why did you move closer to them after you moved the tripod?
Because at the time, Mr. Knowles had, I don't know if I'm going to use the right words, had thrown himself to the ground. And at one point
y'all, please, we got to see. I got to see this video. I got to see his video. I got to see when he threw himself on the ground. Come on now. I just do not believe that.
Started to either roll over or start flopping around. And that's why I moved in closer.
Why were you standing so far away before he flopped to the ground?
Because I'm watching everything going on around them for their safety.
Of course.
Just like I explained to you about being a backup officer for safety.
Yeah. Of course they threw him to the ground. I can't believe he sat up here on camera being recorded and say this man threw himself on the ground. Come on, bro. Come on.
Do you think it was reasonable to move that tripod?
Yes, sir.
When you moved the tripod, did you see that this was a camera?
No, sir.
Did you look at what was on top of the tripod?
When I first walked up to it, yes, sir.
Of course you did.
I did.
Of
But
course.
when you moved it, you did not.
You know it. You know exactly
Correct.
what it was.
Did you see Dial slap the signs?
Yes, sir, I did.
Can you describe the demeanor in which he slapped those signs?
Objection form.
I don't, Mr. Alexander, I don't know what you mean by the demeanor. Can you restate what you're asking for in that question?
Did he slap them hard?
Objection.
I can't, my definition of hard years may be completely different. The way I can answer that question for you is, I believe he used enough force to get the signs out of Mr. Knowles' hands. Now, whether that's hard, soft, or in between, I don't have an answer for you.
Do you think that Knowles?
Man, you know he slapped. The way, man, the way that they dance around to answering these questions it's upsetting and frustrating, but it's also hilarious. This man said he don't know what type of force he used, just enough to knock them signs out of his head. That means he swapped them bitches. Man, come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that, y'all. I try to keep it. But man, come on now. Y'all know. Y'all know what's up with this, man. I can't believe him.
Held the signs in a threatening manner.
I don't recall.
Things.
Why do you think Knowles was arrested?
Objection form.
Sir, I wasn't the arresting officer. I was not. I was there for safety for them. I didn't have any information on the reason why they were arresting me.
At what point did you leave the scene?
Objection form.
Shortly after they had detained him and put him in the back of the one patrol car.
Have you reviewed the pleadings in this case?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean by pleading.
The answer to the lawsuit?
I don't recall if I've read them, sir. I know I get information, but to give you an accurate answer, I do not recall.
Do you think that it's important that the facts present in the documents used to defend you are accurate?
Yes, sir.
After Knowles was arrested, what happened to the tripod?
I do not know, sir. Are you talking about what happened to it as far as where it went? Or
I'm saying immediately after Knowles was placed into the police car, what did the officers do with the tripod?
Objection form.
I know at one point I collapsed the tripod, but other than that, it was handed back over to Officer Dial, or at the time Sergeant Dial. I don't know after that.
When you collapsed it, were you gentle with it?
Objection form.
I collapsed it like I would a normal tripod. As far as if I'm using the wrong word, when it's expanded out, how you can raise or lower them, I collapsed it back down to the smallest size that you can make it. I don't know if I was hard or gentle at that point.
Did you have to touch the top of the tripod to do that?
He know that he didn't care about somebody else's property, so he was rough with it. Whatever, if the flip for the, this is what happens. Like he probably handled this man property like he was in a rush. You know, I know when I'm in a rush to kind of pack up my equipment, sometimes I'm more rough than I would be if I'm taking my time to, undo all the clamps, slide the leg, close it back. I doubt that he's being this. I doubt that he was careful with this man property. So You know, he's just grabbing it, throwing it around, hitting it, and you know, all type of stuff. And he would say, I don't know if I was being rough or not with somebody else's property. You know that you didn't treat his property like you would treat your property.
I don't recall how I don't think I had to reach the top of it to do it.
But are you aware that tripods also extend upward?
I believe so, yes, sir.
And so to collapse one,
Exactly.
you would probably need to hold the top of it and push it down to decrease the size of the tripod. Is that your understanding of tripods?
Yes.
I think you could do it either way, sir.
No.
When you collapsed the tripod, did you look at what was on top of it?
You know that tripod. He used the tripod before, so the fact that he trying to act like he don't know how the tripod work is disingenuous at best.
I don't recall.
Did you let the tripod fall to the ground after you collapsed it?
No, sir.
Did Officer Dial immediately take the tripod from you?
I believe I handed it to him, yes, sir.
Did he let it fall to the ground?
I don't recall.
Oh, you don't.
Where did Officer Dial put the tripod?
Objection form. I don't know, sir.
Was the tripod placed into evidence?
I don't know, because after I left the scene, I don't know what they did with all that stuff.
Do you know of the existence of a recording that would show what happened to that tripod after you handed it to Officer Dial?
What's up?
Objection form. I'm sorry, can you ask that again, sir?
Do you know of any recordings that might show where Officer Dial took that tripod?
I'm not aware of any, sir, or I have not seen any, if they exist.
Did you see Mr. Knowles again after you arrested him that day? Or participated?
I'm sorry, say that again, Mr. Alexander.
Did you see Mr. Knowles again after he was arrested that day?
Yes, sir, I did. Sometime after that date, yes, sir.
And could you describe that incident to me?
He was positioned across the street from the side entrance to the PD, holding a sign. As I pulled along that road to turn to pull into the backside of the PD, he was standing there and made an offensive gesture towards me.
What was that offensive gesture?
As you and I would know, he flipped me off, gave me the finger.
Why do you call that an offensive gesture?
Because most people that I know or I don't know how to explain it. Most people I know would find that offensive.
Was anyone else around when he made that gesture?
At the time, I don't know that I saw anybody else around, but I was driving my patrol car. There was no opposing traffic coming towards me. I couldn't tell you if there was anybody behind me or if there was anybody else on the sidewalk or anywhere near that side of that building that would have witnessed it. No.
Do you know what time of day that was?
It was during the day. I couldn't accurately give you a time.
Why didn't you arrest him for that?
I was trying to get to the PD to take care of something. So
okay.
I just pulled in. First off, even though I may not like it, if you understand law enforcement, we don't have the right to be offended. So
wow. Wow. So you'll say all this, but y'all, wow. You'll say all that, but then your homies knock his sign out of saying you pick up his tripod and throw it around and pretty much probably broke it. That's why I gotta see this video, because I want to know exactly. I gotta see exactly what happened in this video, because man, it's so much going on here. But yeah, the reason you didn't arrest him is because he didn't commit a crime. Him flipping you off is not committing a crime. Him having a sign that say something vulgar is not committing a crime. Him recording it is not a crime. Yet y'all harassed him, detained him, probably broke his property, all that, for somebody not committing a crime.
Him flipping me off does not give me that authority to arrest him.
Why not just say it's not a crime? It's not a crime. Him flipping you off is not him committing a crime. We act on committing crimes or crimes that have been committed.
So I just ignored him, pulled in, and walked into the PD.
If he had shouted a bad word, would you have arrested him?
What you're asking me
Objection, phone.
is that
It's a simple question. If he was flipping you off and he shouted out F you to go with that bird that he shot you, would you arrest him then? Yes or no? It's not a difficult question. Not even a little bit difficult. Hey, Gma, if you could just put the title of it, I could pull it up. If I make you a mod, I had to do it later. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try to find it while I let the video play.
Are you speaking that he's talking to me directly or without anybody else around?
Thank y'all.
Or with other people around?
With other people around.
If those people are offended, then
And
that possibility could exist, yes.
How would you know they were offended?
They would have to make a complaint. They would have to let me know they're offended by his language or his gestures.
So you're saying that if he had shouted a bad word and somebody told you that they were offended, you would have arrested him?
Objection, phone.
What I just said was that the possibility exists, yes, if they're willing to get me if they're willing to give me a written affidavit that they were offended by his gestures or language.
What?
Yes, sir. That is a breach of the peace.
So if somebody called
that is crazy
in a complaint and said that they saw that middle finger and they were offended, and you know he did the middle finger because you saw it, you would arrest him?
Objection, phone.
You just asked me if somebody called. I would believe I would do a little bit more due diligence into who it is, where they were.
He's lying. He would go based off of we got a call and whoever made the 911 call first is the winner. Or they have all they're right, and we got a call saying, hey, you're being offensive. You said something offensive. Well, it's their word against mine. I didn't say nothing offensive. I didn't. Oh, well, we got a call that you did, so that means you did. Like, bro,
Were how they saw it before I make a determination on that.
And if you didn't have that diligence, would you hesitate to arrest?
Objection, phone.
I couldn't give you an answer on that one. I don't just arrest somebody to arrest them. I make sure that I look at all the facts before I do it.
You lying.
Do you think that a reasonable officer would do diligence on the complaint that they receive from a caller?
Objection, phone.
I would hope they do, but I'm not the other officer. I can only speak for what I would be able to do or what I'm capable of doing.
But you would do diligence before arresting a person?
Yes, sir. I would try to, yes, sir.
And could you tell me what would that diligence involve?
Objection, phone.
Well, sir, in the scenario you just gave me, I just explained that I would ask questions to find out. Where were you? How did you see it? There's multiple ways. It just depends on, it could be different questions for different scenarios or different situations.
So if he were holding up the finger and all you knew is that somebody had called in a complaint, therefore you didn't have the ability to do follow-up questions, would you arrest?
Objection form.
No, sir.
Before you moved the tripod, did you consider confirming what was on it?
Can you explain to me what you mean by confirming what's on it, sir?
Do you think that it would have been reasonable to check what was on the tripod before you moved it?
Objection.
No, sir.
Did you think about checking to be sure what it was before you moved it?
No, sir.
Do you think that it would be unreasonable to check to confirm what it was before you moved it?
Objection form.
Are you asking for my personal opinion if I feel that way?
Yes.
It never hurts to check, but in this case, I did not.
Do you think that it was reasonable not to check?
Objection form.
I don't have an answer for you on that, sir.
Objection not responsive. Do you think it was reasonable not to check the camera before you moved? Excuse me. Not to check what was on the tripod before you moved it?
Objection form.
Sir, when I stepped up next to it, I took a quick glance at it. Past that, my position was for officer safety. Taking a quick glance at it, my focus was now on what was going on in front of me, which was down, not the tripod.
Do you think that police officers have a duty to protect citizens from other officers violating their constitutional rights?
Objection form.
Yes, sir.
If you had known that another officer on the scene that day was violating Noel's constitutional rights, would you have helped Knowles?
Objection form.
Sir, if I saw an officer violating somebody's rights, I would do what is right as a law enforcement officer, and I would
I don't believe you.
do what I was sworn to do, which was to protect and uphold, which means yes, in answer to your question.
It's funny how he'll answer that question to try to make itself seem honorable, but all them other questions that had to do with really getting to the bottom of his situation, he want to duck and dodge those questions. But get out of here, man. I don't believe him. Does anybody believe him?
Did you see Dial slap Knowles' signs?
You asked me that before. Yes, sir, I did.
How did you feel about that slap?
Objection form.
I didn't have an opinion one way or the other on that, sir. I don't quite understand what you're asking.
I'm asking you if you thought it was appropriate for Dial to slap those signs in that moment.
Objection form.
It's funny.
I did not hear the conversation between them at that point, so I don't feel it.
I can picture the signs being slapped like how this hand, like, get that free speech out of here. No freedom around here, man. What's wrong with you?
Was unreasonable for him to slap the signs out of his hand.
Were you watching Knowles the whole time you were on the scene?
Objection form.
Yes, sir.
Did you see Knowles take any aggressive action against anyone that day?
Hold on. Just to let y'all know, I found the video. So after this finishes, we'll go ahead and see this video to see what this deposition was all about. Well, I'm gonna see what it was all about because I haven't seen it yet, but man, it's gonna be crazy.
You're asking me for an opinion when your question about an aggressive stance. we could both have a different opinion of what an aggressive stance is.
So what?
What I'm asking about your opinion.
Yeah.
Objection, Paul.
In what I saw when officers approached him and went to talk to him and he turned away from them, I believe could be constituted as an aggressive manner because you don't know what an individual is capable of doing when they turn away from you.
Do you think that turning away from the officers justifies Dial slapping those signs?
I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah.
Did you consider the possibility that the object on top of the tripod was a camera?
It never crossed my mind, no, sir.
Did you ever think about what it might be?
Objection, Paul.
No, sir, I did not.
Do you think that an officer providing backup during an arrest has a duty to intervene if the arresting officer is executing that arrest without reasonable suspicion of a crime?
Objection, Paul.
Can you restate it one more time, sir?
No,
I think I
you heard
understand
it
what you
first.
want, but or what you're asking.
You heard it first time. What he doing right now is buying himself some time to think of a lie to answer that question or to get around that question. He heard it clear the first time. This lawyer is not talking fast. He's not jumbling things up. It's not like a word soup. He asks clear and concise questions. And this guy.
But I'd like you to restate it just to make sure.
If you're performing backup during an arrest, do you think that officers generally have an obligation to assist?
I like how the lawyer is he changed it so it wouldn't be so personal. That's why I say in general, but before it was, he said you personally, and he didn't want to answer that.
The person being arrested, if they're being arrested without reasonable suspicion of a crime.
Objection, Paul.
I believe so, yes, sir.
Do you think it's reasonable for an officer that's providing backup to intervene in that situation?
Yes, sir. I believe if they recognize that it's something wrong like you're stating, then yes, they should be intervening.
Can I help you guys?
Wow. But here we go. I believe this is the video right here.
We've got a complaint of you out here holding up.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is it, y'all. So we at Lackluster page. This is cop sued after awful arrest. He won $25K off this, and we just finished watching the deposition of one of the backup officers deposition. We just finished that, so I want to see where he's at in this video. But he said he was on the scene later. But I think here's the tripod right here, and he got a sign right here, and they bullying him already. What you doing with that sign? Get that sign. Get that free speech out of here, man.
We've got a complaint of you out here holding up profanities. Okay.
We got a complaint about you up here holding profanities, bruh. What? I'm gonna tell on you. You holding up bad signs, bro. We are adults out here. Where you, man?
I'm not gonna tell you again. Give your idea of profanities. We've got a complaint. We've got a complaint of you out here holding up profanities. Okay. I'm not gonna tell you again. Complaint of you out here holding up profanities. Okay.
So he don't know if he's. Hey, he said he don't know if he slapped the side hard. I already knew what it was looking like. I could picture this before I even saw it, man. And he kicked it too. Fuck yourself. That free speech out of here. What's wrong with you, man? Trying to have some free speech out of here. Get that out of here.
I'm not going to tell you again. You have your ID on you? I don't have my your hands right here. You going to get up? I can't. Since he's failing the ID. If you out here holding up we've got a complaint if you out here holding up profanities. Okay.
This is crazy.
I'm not going to tell you again. You have your ID on you? I don't have my your hands right here.
Now he did drop down to the floor. He didn't throw himself on the ground, but he did like drop down on the floor.
You gonna get up?
Now that's unbelievable. I wouldn't have believed that if I didn't see that. If I didn't see that, I wouldn't have believed that.
I can't. Since he's failing the ID, taken to jail for disorderly conduct.
What?
What?
Being assaulted, I have not committed a jail for disorderly. You gonna get up? I can't. Since he's failing the ID, taken to jail for disorderly conduct.
What?
I'm being.
Hey, if Lackluster, if you ever see this video, that was a good cut, man. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Assaulted, I have not committed a crime.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. We've covered Otto the Watchdog and his recent lawsuit, where he was awarded $100,000 after being unlawfully arrested for showing a tyrant the shape of his longest finger.
I don't consent to any searches or seizures.
Okay, I'm searching you incident to arrest because you're under arrest.
I'm under arrest. You're going to take me to jail today?
Yes, sir.
You're going to take me to jail for a finger?
That full story is linked below, but today we're looking into one of his earlier cases from December of 2018. Otto.
They just giving him money. They just giving him money.
The watchdog stood on public property, displaying various signs.
What they say, shit is.
And over.
Oh, he's saying it's just effed up and stupid.
For about 30 minutes, people driving by would honk and wave. Meanwhile, officers of the Royce City Police Department were on a call nearby, and Officer Johnny Clark was dispatched to Otto's location.
And the sheriff's office dispatch.
Hi, there's some people out here at Interstate 30 and South Elm.
Look how he walked up like get out of here, man.
That have some very offensive signs.
As the other officers.
What soft? 911. This guy has some very, very offensive signs. Bro, if you don't get your powder puff, how you even feel like a man calling 911 on somebody holding up a sign? You snowflake.
Cleared up their first call. They leave to respond to Otto's location as well.
Where's Johnny with the other one? Should be right over here. Thank you. Yes. Some guy holding up a sign that says shit is up and stuff or something. Filling off.
At the time the officers arrived on scene, Otto's sign read, "Give me liberty or give me death." But a 911 caller had mentioned immortality.
Hold on. Let me go to the comments. Hey man, this is ridiculous. But I knew this was gonna be crazy. Kels Bells, what's up? What's up? Yeah, man. You have to really need to it needs to be a real situation for you to be calling the cops. Like something has to be happening right then and there, or something has happened already. But you imagine, I couldn't even imagine that. Me calling the police on somebody minding their business or doing something different, like 911, this guy's dancing in the street. He might be on drugs. He's looking kind of aggressive. Is he what? He's a black male. Like that's how they be calling it. Like what? Come on, man. But come on, it need to be a rule against that.
Or
an enforced rule against that, man. You can't just be calling 911 on stupid stuff because somebody holding up a sign you don't like. Oh, he got some profanities on the sign. When?
Colorful sign that read "Shit is fucked up and stuff." And upon their arrival, the officers circled Otto. But before we continue, the longest sponsor of the channel is Exter. They've reimagined the traditional wallet by adding a feature to fan out your cards with the click of a button. Then they added an expandable metal backplate that allows you to carry more while keeping a slim profile. Exter just released a limited edition Parliament made from premium Italian Saffiano leather. They also added
Gmod, that might be a reason. That might actually be a reason. You got somebody burning woods and yelling at you, hey, man, we got somebody burning stuff and he yelling. I don't know what's going on with him. Can somebody come out here to see what's up with him? That's a reason to call. But you driving your car down the street and somebody holding up a sign, like you long gone past that point, like when you calling the police, unless you pull over, you stop and say, hey, this guy's holding this, like, could you imagine that he halfway down the road or probably all the way down the road making that call, like, hey, it's this guy 5 minutes back under the bridge that I passed 20 minutes ago. He was holding up a sign. Like, come on, man.
Keep this channel going. But for now, back to the video, where officers have surrounded Otto, seemingly to intimidate him over his signs.
How are you? Well, I was doing just fine until just a minute ago. I've already heard you say a cuss word once. So, what do your other signs say, sir?
That's
sir.
crazy, man.
What do your other signs say?
What am I doing?
Okay, can I see your other signs?
No, leave my seat away.
Sir, we've got a complaint of you out here holding up profanities.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't let me look at your sign, I'll take you in custody for disorderly conduct.
I'm not being.
This is why they need to have Constitution. They need to go over the Constitution when they take their oath. This is why.
Otto declined consent of the warrantless search and seizure of his property several times, which seems to have enraged Sergeant Dial, and despite his...
So we got Peter Griffin here just upset, and he tried to... Man.
Oath 11 years old.
This guy, come on, man. No, this is the guy who nobody respected, so he got the badge and gun and tried to throw himself around with, get out of here, man.
As an officer, and hopefully a very basic understanding of the First and Fourth Amendment.
11 years, and he don't even know the First Amendment. He is Officer Fillings. He been Officer Fillings for 11 years and 3 months.
The senior officer on scene punches the signs out of Otto's hands.
Damn. I'm not going to tell you again.
Causing Officer Clark to jump backwards in fear.
I'm not going to tell you again.
Officer Short would then turn Otto's mounted camera away from the incident to protect his boss from having his disgusting behavior documented, while simultaneously depriving Otto of his right.
Disgusting. So, wow. So you gonna try? That's why he kept asking those questions about if he knew if it was a cell phone or not, and he just gonna blatantly lie. Man, he obviously turned this away. So, wow. Those depositions.
Content gathering, including evidence of this crime that Officer Short was witnessing his supervisor commit.
I'm not being disorderly.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you again. All right?
I don't consent to any searches or seizures.
Okay. This is offensive to people that are driving by.
So what? People are offended by me just standing on the... I can just be standing in line somewhere and somebody might be offended by that because they are offended by who I am or my presence. Like, what do you mean people are offended? So what? That's not America. I don't know what. This is not North Korea. And matter of fact, I was doing some research and looking up some stuff on North Korea, and it is really bad there. And this is really close to what's going on there.
and families that are driving by. Yes, it's disorderly conduct. Okay. It's disorderly conduct.
Don't
Read that to me. It's just
disorderly conduct. That is not disorderly conduct. He doesn't know law. He needs to be fired.
disorderly conduct. You have your ID on you? No. Okay. Now you're filling the ID. I don't have
Put
your hands right here.
Otto then engaged in passive resistance by laying down.
Roll over.
Otto is essentially making the statement that if he were going to be unlawfully arrested for engaging in conduct that is supposedly protected by the Constitution, that he would not fight the officers, but he would also not comply and violate his own right to peacefully protest.
Since he's failing the ID, take him to jail for disorderly conduct. When we're here answering a complaint and you refuse to identify yourself, that is a crime.
Listen to him. If we here to investigate a crime, but really it's no crime, and you don't assist us in violating you, so we're gonna take you to jail. And he really think you're doing something. Come on, man.
When you're displaying these signs and people are calling because it's offensive to them, that is another crime. So yes, you have committed a crime. You committed two. You didn't warn me. We don't have to warn you. Ignorance of the law. I asked you politely to see your signs, and you said no.
Consent to any searches or seizures of my property or my person.
Next, the officer would dig his hole even further by threatening to leave Otto's camera on scene.
Hold on, y'all. And it's funny how they kept saying, "Oh, that's a stoplight." Bro, you know this, man. Come on, man. You turned the camera so it wouldn't catch what y'all was doing. Come on, man. Not only did you know what it is, you was looking to see what it was recording. So, oh man. Wow.
So anyone that found it later could pick it up and walk away with it.
Is that your cell phone and tripod? If it's not, I'm gonna leave it sitting here. If it is, I'm gonna take it and put it up so somebody doesn't steal it. But if you
Is that your cell phone and tripod? So they know exactly what it is. Okay. But he was acting like okay. Okay. Wow. Man. It's crazy, man. It's okay to be offended, but come on, man. You can't let everything offend you. Somebody holding up a sign that you could just ignore or look away or you driving past it anyway. How is that bothering you to the point where you feel like you need to call armed gunmen to the situation to deal with that? Come on. People don't understand. They're calling gunmen. Some people do understand that who they call it. But then other people are like, oh, I'm just going to call the police and they're going to handle that guy and tell him, which that's what they're doing. That tyrants.
want to act this way, I'll leave you sitting here and let somebody steal it.
Why would you do that?
Okay. We don't know whose stuff that is either.
Look at them.
I have a question. What am I being arrested for?
The officer just
time to ask questions.
Oh, yeah, now's the time to ask questions.
You know what?
Now's when's the good time to start asking questions then? Because wow. Now they're going through his pockets.
Nobody even asked me to identify it. All he did is ask me if I had ID, and I don't have ID.
Let me explain something to you, man. We're not holding court on the side of the road with you.
Well, you're arresting me.
We're not holding court with you.
I just want to know why I have handcuffs.
Any questions you have, you can ask the jail and you can ask the court.
You gonna get up?
I can't.
Okay. Roll back over and I'll help you up.
I'm not sure if I can do that either. I would like to see your supervisor right now before you assault me any farther.
We're not.
I am being assaulted. I have not committed a crime. I have not committed a crime. I have not committed a crime. I can't get up. You're hurting me. You are hurting me. Then get up. I cannot get up. Then get up. I can't get up like this. They lift you up. I'm trying to get up. Matt, please get up. Well, assist me up instead of trying to. We're trying to help you up. Lift you up. I'm trying to get ass.
Yes, I've seen the game before. Roll up to your knees and they will assist you up.
Roll up to my knees. I'm a fat man.
Okay.
Help me to my knees.
We already have one.
Well, help me again.
Now they'll lift you straight on your feet. Stand up.
Okay, help me up. I have committed no crime. I have committed no crime whatsoever. Please get my equipment.
That's not yours.
Easy
Remember, I asked you earlier.
25K.
Come on. You're going to leave my shit on the side of the road. Get my equipment. Get my equipment. You dude, I'm asking for you to get my. Hey, I've committed no crime.
Unlock your car,
no
please.
crime.
I want to turn this phone off.
I ain't turning nothing off. I'm gonna leave it right like that. Put it in evidence. I asked him if it was his. He didn't want to talk.
I heard it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know where his car is. Somewhere up there. If I had to bet.
Unlike most states in the U.S., under Texas Penal Code 3802, you're not obligated to provide your identification until you are under arrest. But the officer has now claimed that Otto is under arrest for failing to identify.
We don't have to warn you.
Ignorance of the law.
You're still under arrest for failed ID.
I was under arrest, and then I ID'd, as the code says.
No, the code says when you're legally detained, you're required to ID yourself. You did not.
It specifically says arrest. Okay. I didn't do nothing.
What's your phone number?
I didn't do nothing.
Months after the incident, a large group gathered to protest at the same corner, carrying various signs with more extreme profanities than what Otto was holding. Officers responded to the scene, but nobody was arrested.
And the sheriff's office dispatch.
Hi, there's some people out here at Interstate 30 and South Elm that have some very offensive signs. There's signs.
Okay.
What man is calling in these signs? Bro, what? They got some very offensive signs. Bro, you got to be the most powder puff.
That say it's f***ed up. That police.
You know, with a bunch of signs that said, some profanities and stuff.
We know. We're aware of it.
I can't believe these men calling in. Oh my goodness. What type of man are you?
Citizens of the United States have a well-established constitutional right to protest law enforcement in public places, but Sergeant Dial was seemingly motivated by a malicious desire to punish Otto for his speech critical of government misconduct. So, Otto was arrested and initially charged with disorderly conduct, obscene language, and resisting arrest, though the officers never established probable cause of any of these crimes, and because of that, the resisting charge was changed to interfering, and the case was split into 2 counts in separate courts so that Otto would be forced to attend 2 times for each hearing. Eventually, both bogus charges would be dismissed, and Otto would move to file a pro se lawsuit against Sergeant Dial and Officer Short for their violations to his First Amendment rights and malicious prosecution. Other claims in the lawsuit were thrown out due to complications, filing the lawsuit without legal counsel. But despite his struggles with the court's procedures, Otto was finally awarded nearly $25,000, but it took almost 4 years. Of course, no word of disciplinary action for the officers is known, and the taxpayers would ultimately pay for the officers' crimes against Otto.
I was right there when they all showed up. They've already dispersed.
How come nobody was arrested? That's what I want to know. I called and everybody kept telling me that somebody's there, but nobody was being talked to. Nobody was being arrested. I mean,
right.
I called you guys.
Yes, sir, I understand.
What good is it to call you guys and then you guys not go do anything?
What could I have arrested him for, sir?
I was insulted. I was definitely offended by those words. They had the F word. They had other stuff.
Yes, sir.
Oh, he trolling. That's why.
I mean, I know that's not legal. You can't just go out there and write whatever you want on a sign and do that. That was
They trolling.
extremely offensive, and they were right there on the corner on the street.
The First Amendment protects people, and they can say stuff like that as long as they're not inciting a riot or a breach of peace. Then they're perfectly fine. And when I was there was no breach of peace, sir.
So you said that the reason why nobody was arrested was because it's their First Amendment right? Really? Isn't that for like the news and stuff?
It protects everybody, sir.
Hey, they funny. They funny.
It protects everybody. Okay, well, I guess there's nothing that I can do then. If they're protected by the Constitution, then they're protected, right?
Yes, sir.
All righty, thank you for that phone call, because you arrested my friend.
I knew he was. I knew he was trolling.
For standing there with the same sign that said stuff and stuff, and they're trying to take away his children for the same reason, and 3 cops assaulted him and arrested him, and he's going to trials there now for it, okay, for the same reason. So now that they stood out there with that same sign, he just admitted that, you stupid, just admitted that you were wrong for arresting that man in the first place. Stop trying to ruin people's lives. You guys are scumbags for what you're doing. It is absolutely wrong. You just admitted that he was arrested.
Total scumbags. Trying to ruin people's lives, man.
For absolutely nothing. He has had to travel from Colorado to Texas and back several times over this case. And he hasn't even been given discovery for this case in over a year, because you guys know that you're
Let him have it.
corrupt. I'm sorry?
Let him have it.
Sure. Fuck you.
He meant that from the bottom of his heart. But yeah, so what I find funny is that funny and upsetting at the same time is this
malicious.
This was the guy from the this was the guy right here from the deposition, acting like he didn't know what was going on. He acting like he wasn't close to the scene, like he was trying to act like he didn't know nothing. But he right here in the mix. He didn't move the tripod, looked at it, he knows the phone. Now he trying to say he don't know if it's a spotlight or what. And come on, man. I don't know what was happening. When I was on the scene, I was just there for officer safety, and I moved it for officer safety. No, you didn't, bro. Oh, when you moved it, did you? Yeah, man. Disgusting, man. Disgusting that he would lie and then try to talk about him being a good cop and not just arresting people to arrest them. And oh man. Oh man. Oh. Boy, those depositions they'll say anything in them depositions. But they can't get away from the truth. Oh, man. Then took his I don't know if he slapped this sign hard or not. You know, it was enough force to knock it out of his hand. Not only did he slap that bit out of his hand, he slapped it out of his hand and kicked it. Like, total disrespect. Like, man, fuck yourself. Get that free speech out of here, man. What you think this is, man? Yeah, ain't no free speech around here. Come on, man. I'm sorry. I got to pull back, man. I be like, very, very. He slapped that sign with so much, man, so much force. He knocked all the signs down. He holding up multiple signs. He slapped all of them down. Get them free speech signs out of here, man. Who told you? Who told you had free speech out here, man? Somebody said they didn't like it. Get them signs up out of there, man. Crazy. Then this one, the one big blueback said he said he didn't know what was going on. He was just there when it's clear. Come on, man. It's clear what they there for. He know exactly what's going on. He was a part of it. Tried to move his cell phone out the way. Like, oh man, I see him doing something crazy. Let me turn this a little bit. Act like, come on, bro. That's a First Amendment violation as well. So many violations, but it took him 4 years to get 25K. But I think that's because he did it himself. But still, 4 years to get 25K. You know how much you spent before you made that 25K back? But oh man, y'all. This hey. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap up this. I'm gonna wrap up this stream. I appreciate y'all. You know, I hope y'all I hope everybody enjoyed this, but not, enjoyed it as this is great to see, but just enjoyed it learning about the psychology of tyrants. Pretty much. That's, I always take this as a learning lesson. You learn so much. But man, it's funny at times, and I have to laugh, or I would just be miserable and angry on the stream, and that wouldn't be something y'all want to see. Well, I don't believe y'all want to see that. But I catch y'all on the next one. Hashtag stop muting body cam footage. Y'all say what's up to Karen. She wasn't on here, but make sure I check on her. I'm gonna check on her soon. If y'all have checked on her, hashtag pray for Karen. And until the next one, I'll see y'all. AWB, I'm out.